Welcome to 10 Minute Takes. This is where we rate films first, then we discuss them. So are you ready to rate the film?
I am.
So 3, 2, 1.
Wait
See
for it.
So today we are discussing American Animals. If you don't know, American Animals is a true story crime thriller, I suppose. It is an art heist that went wrong, I guess you could say, for college kids. And they turned it into a biopic of sorts. So with that said, let's just get into it. Why is it a wait for it for you?
It was a wait for it for me because, to be honest, the fact that it was written like a documentary, it felt like the movie, like the TV show The Haunting, where they have people talking about it and then there's like a skit about what happened. So like it intertwines as far as the people who it actually happened to talks about it, and then it goes through like the motion picture of it. Now, that being said, the reason that I said wait for it was because I didn't expect that. And I like watching documentaries at home. I invested in documentaries more when I'm at home than when I go see it.
Yeah.
However, near the middle, I kind of started to really like the flow of how they did the documentary series. Mm-hmm. So I'm not saying that I don't like it at all. I'm just saying that in the beginning, it was such a shock that that's how it was starting, that I was like, is this going to be the whole movie? But then after about like 20 minutes, 30 minutes into the movie, I was like, this is really good.
Yeah. The reason it's a see it for me is that I want to categorize this as it's a documentary biopic. It reminded me very much of I, Tonya. It's both films revolve around a criminal aspect.
Except for Tonya, it takes place with the actors.
The difference with I, Tonya and American Animals is that whereas I, Tonya, they did an interview series with I, Tonya, but the interviews are done by the actors that are playing the characters. Whereas in American Animals, the interviews are with the real life people that committed the crimes. So we cut back and forth with the interviews of the people that committed the crimes, and then we go back to the film of the reenactment of the biopic side of what they're talking about. And it was a little weird at first because it's not advertised, it's not in any of the trailers, and unless you
can't read anything about it either. Like there's not a whole lot on it except for interviews that they do with the actors. And because I watched a few of those, that's the only time that you know that those actors are, the real life people of the events were in the film.
Yeah.
Which I think is it was. I will give them props. I will give the director props for doing it this way because it was very unique.
I've never seen a film like this. I've never seen this approach done before. And it made sense. I actually looked up the director today. But the director, this is his first narrative feature. Everything he's done before this is documentaries. He's done nothing but documentary films for like 20 years. So this is the first film he's done that actually has like actors in it.
So he took best of both worlds. So he took
his documentary style, interviewed the people that committed the crime, and intercut it with an actual film that they shot. And there's one of my favorite moments of the film is when the real life person is actually in the scene with the actor portraying him.
That was really cool.
He's like, I don't remember. Did it really happen like this? He goes, well, this is the way he says it is, so it must have. And then we go into the actual scene, and the scene continues, and it was a really awesome moment. And that's when that style started to win me over. I wish they would have done that a few more times. But that one time...
kind of the point where I was saying... I think that was the point in the movie
they're
where
at the gas station.
Like, okay, I get it. I get what they're doing, and I enjoyed it more. So
I thought it was really cool.
Yeah.
For me, also, the acting was fantastic. I think this was probably some of the best acting from any of these actors that I've seen. The cast, the four guys, it's the four actors, it's Evan Peters, Barry Keoghan, I'm not sure how to pronounce his last name, Jordan Abrahams, and Blake Jenner.
Who played Eric? Who played the guy that was in the heist with Warner in the moment that it was really happening?
That was Jared Abrahamson.
I thought
he's the one with the FBI, the guy that wanted to be in the FBI, right?
He was amazing.
He was really good.
Every time he was on there, I thought he was great.
Don't recognize him from anywhere, but he was really good. Blake Jenner, who was the older brother in Edge of 17, was fantastic in this.
He was really good.
He was so good.
I thought the two of them were the best. I thought that the person who played Chaz and the person who played Eric were the two I felt like they won the show over.
Yeah. And then Evan Peters is just becoming a scene stealer. He's most well known for being Quicksilver in the last 2 X-Men films. Everything he's in, he just owns it. He's turned into one of my favorites. If he's in a film, I can pretty much expect to go and be entertained by him. Now, the next aspect of the things that I like, I'm a technical guy. I like my technical stuff in my films.
I know.
As an editor, I was incredibly impressed with the way they wove the interviews with the reenactment biopic aspect of the film. It was only jarring at first because I wasn't prepared for it, but once I settled into it, the editing and the way they handled it was really, really well done.
I will have to say, as part of the editing, besides the main character who played Warner, the real life Warner was entertaining. But
he was good.
I also really liked Spencer.
Which one was Spencer?
Spencer was the other main character, right?
Oh, yeah.
Spencer, for some reason,
The one
when
in
he
the
was
garage.
on, because you were mad at him, you had empathy for him, but you also really enjoyed his part of the story. He was like, I did it. I have to accept it.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have done it. But you went through these emotions with his character when you have the real life Spencer that had this effect on me. I don't know.
Yeah. And then the music was really well done. I like my music in movies. I actually went looking for the soundtrack today. I couldn't find it. It's not anywhere. But the music's it's like a bass line that sells the tension in the film, and it worked to great effect. And the music became more and more prominent as we got closer and closer to the heist. And once we're in the heist, it's like...
The heist was really good. The music behind it was really good.
Now, the last thing of the things that I like will also transition into the things that I didn't like about the film. The film's very much a slow burn, and it's a slow burn where the film starts ratcheting the tension. It starts getting more and more and more tight as we get closer and closer to the heist, and then we start realizing that these are just kind of like kids that are trying to do this incredibly stupid thing that they end up doing. And as we get closer and closer, they start realizing that they're in over their heads, but they keep on pushing forward, and it keeps on getting
tighter and tighter.
Tighter, until it finally gets tight enough where it just snaps, and they all just have that breakdown moment. And I felt that the slow burn mixed with the tension was to great effect, and it actually made me there were times in my chair where I was like, oh my god.
We both were. I had my sweater over my face, and I was like, ah. I will say, though, can I just point something out, that the one thing that I was disappointed about the film was actually when they got arrested, that they didn't do anything beyond that. That was pretty much the end of the movie. Once they got arrested, they showed a little clip of them actually getting arrested in real life, and then that was it. I personally wanted to learn more about the trial, and that could come from my love for documentaries on crime areas.
And I agree with you. One of the notes that I took was that because it was such a slow burn, it took so long for this film to start ratcheting up the tension that I felt like there was probably moments earlier in the film that they could have cut to make room for the trial, because the trial's not touched on. So I think there's probably a good 10 minutes in the first half of the film they probably could have taken out and added 10 minutes at the end to cover the trial.
I think the trial would have been very entertaining, and I wanted to know. After the movie was over, I ended up looking their stuff up because I wanted to know about the trial.
That's the 10-minute mark there.
10 minutes.
But I agree with Sam. I very much wanted the trial to be covered. It wasn't covered. It's probably my biggest criticism is that the slow burn effect that they were going for probably could have been dialed back to leave room for the trial at the end, because it would have been great seeing them in court, actually having the sentencing being handed to them. Even part of the things that I read where it's they put one of them into
solitary confinement because they did an interview and it felt like he was just didn't take it seriously. Yeah,
which that would have been great stuff to have been covered in the film. So, all right, that's it for our time. Last thoughts for this?
No, I think I'm good.
You're good? I'd say for me personally, go out and see this film as soon as you can. I loved this film. It's probably my favorite film of the year so far. Outside of like the big tentpole films, but as far as like the smaller personal films that we see, this was probably one of the best ones.
I will say,
year.
if you like documentaries, you like crime movies and TV shows, this is a really good movie to see. I just don't think I would have needed to see it on opening weekend. I do enjoy seeing movies in theaters, so I think this movie is great in theaters too.
Yeah, it's highly unique. Check this out in the theater. Highly recommended. So far, one of my favorites of the year. It's easily top 5 of the year for me so far. So, thank you for tuning in. Subscribe if you want to see more. We got Sicario next. And then we also have another documentary that we want to see called Three Identical Strangers, which we'll also be covering. So stay tuned for those. Subscribe, like, and we will see you later. Thank you.